Hey, it's Steve Riley. Welcome to this episode of Great Practice, Great Life. And today I have my friend Dan Miller on the podcast. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us, Steve.
Well, thanks for being here. It's great to have you here. And you and I became friends after I saw you present at a New York bar event. And I was sitting there in the audience and you were presenting 16 criteria that were like the perfect criteria to consider in choosing a CRM. And I was listening to you to present and I was like, this guy is sharp. He knows this stuff cold. And I was agreeing with everything you were saying. And I turned over and talked to Denise, who's sitting right next to me. I said, Denise, this guy's really sharp. And she goes, yeah, he is. He really is. I said, he should be an Atticus client. And she goes, he is. I was like, oh, this is the greatest day ever. Because when I asked you to get on the podcast, there was some relatedness. Like you've heard of the podcast, you were already working with us. So it's just a great thing to meet you and watch you stand on the Diaz in front of, I guess, a couple hundred lawyers and school them on how this worked, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your background. And then I'm going to kind of ask you the questions because for me, this is like a critical element. If you're trying to grow a practice, I just don't see how you grow without information management. But let's get everybody some context. First off, where do you practice and what type of practice do you have?
So I am in Brooklyn, New York. We do elder law and trust and estates.
Perfect. And you are, my recollection, a third generation lawyer. Is that correct?
Yep. So my grandfather was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. And then I made the mistake of becoming a lawyer.
You're keeping on the family tradition, man. You're keeping on the family tradition. So did you go directly to work for your father as an attorney or how'd this play out?
So I went to University of Delaware for undergrad, go Blue Hens. And then while I was working there, I got offered a job at Chase. So Chase then said, hey, you could work in Delaware with me, or you could go to Arizona. So I went out to Arizona, went to law school out there, became a Sun Devil, and really started practicing out. Well, not practicing out there, just learning the ropes out there. Going interning, doing all that type of stuff.
Why do you think a CRM is important for a lawyer? Like, why is this critical for their growth?
Just organization. Things need to be organized. And when you don't have a CRM, things are and just having it centrally located, having everyone be able to access the same data, access certain things. It's just so incredibly important.
I'm amazed at how many lawyers I still talk to at this point in time about data management, information management. And I'm stunned. You can hear my voice. I'm stunned at how many lawyers I speak to that have no understanding that if they want to grow and they want to manage other people, the most critical investment for growth to measure KPIs, key performance indicators, to manage data, manage workflow, to manage anything is really this case management system, their CRM. So when you were speaking about this, it was like music to my ear. So what I'm going to do is just walk through the criteria with you. I'm going to do my best not to interrupt you too much because these are really, really critically important things for me. Now, this is important because if you're trying to onboard a prospect quickly, what you're trying to do is eliminate any type of speed bump. And if you're having a human being call them and schedule with them, that may be a 24 to 40 hour information float. So if the CRM has the capability of sending them a link to schedule directly, whether it's with you or somebody on your team, the intake now speeds up quickly. And this is an important thing as you're trying to evaluate whether a CRM makes sense for you. And I'm speaking to the listener. Sorry, Dan. You have to figure out, okay, is there a way to speed up the intake process through the use of the CRM. And this is a simple one, right? Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this also, your CRM could also send those reminders, the text, hey, you have an appointment tomorrow, or here's the Zoom link. And that could be done once again automatically. You're no longer having someone call up the day before saying, hey, or you still can, but now you have an email going out to the client saying your consult's tomorrow at this time. We look forward to seeing you. So next is kind of the in-between. We've set up the consult. You came in through the marketing source. We figured out where you came from. We set up a consult. And now we want to get information over to the clients before the consult. And this is the pre-education.
So step 4 for you is using the CRM to pre-educate the prospect prior to becoming a client.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I want to make sure I'm still tracking. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. And this also provides a level of trust. Now, I do it through videos, but now they could see you. And now you're telling them about estate planning. You're telling them the estate administration process. So all these things that they may ask in the consult, they now have a little bit of information and they trust you before you haven't even talked with them yet, but they're seeing you. You're in front of them and you're educating them before they even step in your door. The other thing is we're lawyers, Steve, and a lot of people are scared of us. I think people are terrified of going to a lawyer's office sometimes. And you could actually explain the process of, here's what happens when you come in. This is when you should expect. This is where you should park. These are the trains that are near you, so that things they're not so frantic and frenetic when people are coming in. They're scared to meet with you. So
terrific. That's terrific, Dan. You could even go as far as what to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the pin on the map. Here's what to put in. Here's how I'll be addressed. So it's a very, I think you raise a very good point. It really decreases the stress of your prospective client before they come in. That's really what this is about, just trying to reduce the stress. Now, let me ask you a question about the videos. So this is something I've been trying to encourage probably before you start practicing, was the use of videos by lawyers just for that primary purpose, which is to reduce stress and make the rapport building quicker and faster. Because if they see 3 or 4 videos of you talking about whatever it is you're talking about, they feel like they already know you. How's that working for you? How's the pre-education videos working for you in your practice?
It's excellent. It's one of the things I wish I did earlier, Steve, because when they see you and you're explaining things to them, they come in and I start explaining it again. And they're like, you already told me this. And I'm very happy to tell you that. Like, really? Okay, perfect. We can skip this step and we can kind of delve in a little bit deeper. So the videos have been great. And I really do feel like if clients watch them, it's amazing. If they don't, obviously you tried your hardest to get it to them anyways.
Yeah, but it has a huge impact, right? And absolutely. So when you do the videos, I'm not trying to pound the videos too hard, but if I'm just trying to encourage the people listening to this to try videos, how do you prepare the videos? Do you hire a studio? Do you bring a camera crew in? What do you do?
So I did a lot of it myself.
You're kidding me. You can do these videos yourself? Please, Dan, tell me how you can do a video yourself.
So I wrote out a script, right? You write out the topics. You come up with all these different topics that you want to do. You write out a script. And you know what helps a lot, Steve? AI. You just put your script in there and it could actually help you give different talking points that you may not have thought of. So I would write out my script, put it into AI, see if there's any changes I want made. I would then put it on my phone on a app called Prompter, which will let me just read it off. It looks like I'm talking directly to the camera, set up the camera and record.